When you think of movies, what do you think of? Well, TV-58 is bringing you a week of movies celebrating Oscar. The spectacle, the style, the comedy, the action,
Take cover!
the drama.
Fasten your seatbelt. It's going to be a bumpy night.
So join TV-58's movie host, Matias Bombal, for Oscar Week. All next week on TV-58.
Good evening and welcome to Oscar Week, culminating this Friday night for what is arguably one of the greatest films of all time, All About Eve. I'm your host, Matias Bombal, and I'd like to thank the folks at Cartel Cellular for making this week of Oscar movies possible. Tonight's movie was based on a short story by Mary Orr called The Wisdom of Eve, and at the Oscars for 1950 it came away with 6 nominations and 4 wins. Now 2 of this went to one guy, one for writing and one for directing, Joseph L. Mankiewicz. It won Best Picture of the Year over Sunset Boulevard at the ceremony held at the Pantages Theater in Hollywood. Bette Davis is said to have loosely based her Oscar-nominated performance on the First Lady of the American Theater, Tallulah Bankhead. Now, soon after the movie was released, when Bankhead was asked what she thought of Davis's portrayal, she answered by saying, "Betty and I are great friends. There's nothing I wouldn't say to her face." Both of them. Ouch! George Sanders also won an Academy Award for his magnificent performance as theater critic Addison DeWitt, my favorite part in the film. So fasten your seatbelts. Here comes Betty.
My mother wrote in the flyleaf to my dear little Gabrielle. That means nuts.
Hold it. She saw him in... Ready? Ready? All right.
I can't take any chances.
Chances? What's all the emergency about?
I just had a baby in the ladies' room.
Help me. Help me, dear God, help me. I'm caught on his butt. Son of a bitch. Only the last one, God damn it. What?
Matias Bombal back with you in the KSCH studio, and I'd like to thank Cartel Cellular for making this week of great Oscar movies possible. Now, up for Best Picture at this year's Academy Awards are Walt Disney's Beauty and the Beast, Bugsy, JFK, The Prince of Tides, and Silence of the Lambs. And I'll have my pick for Best Picture up in my next break, and we'll all find out this Monday night. The race for Best Actress in 1950 was a hard one to call. Bette Davis was up for tonight's film. Gloria Swanson was up for her great role in Sunset Boulevard. But it was Judy Holliday in one of her scatterbrained roles that took the prize for Born Yesterday. George Sanders, who I mentioned earlier, was one of the truly great actors of our time. He was always cast in very urbane, witty roles, from classics like 1945's The Picture of Dorian Gray and 1941's Manhunt, to even Batman on TV. It's hard to believe that this actor took his own life, leaving a note behind saying that he was bored. I'm sure, however, that you will not be, as we now continue with Bette Davis and Marilyn Monroe, George Sanders in All About Eve.